Writing prescriptions is a cornerstone of optometry. Here we will explain how to write a prescription to British standards, getting this right every time. This allows a patient to order an accurate pair of spectacles and monitor their eyes for change. You must, by law, give this to the patient to complete the sight test or issue a statement to say that they do not need a prescription. When you have performed your refraction and you're about to issue a prescription, if the prescribed final power is greater than plus or minus 5, observe and take note of the vertex distance of the trial frame in millimeters. This is the distance from the corneal apex to the trial lens. Be careful when writing a prescription by hand. Consider your writing. Could it be misread? What is this, for example? Ensure that the following are on the prescription: the patient's name, their address, their date of birth if they are under 16, the practice address, practitioner's name and signature, the date of examination, and a statement that says either the prescription is new or changed, or the prescription has not changed significantly, or the patient does not need a prescription. When writing out a prescription, always record the right, OD, R, prescription before the left, OS, L. Note the sphere power. Always include a plus or minus sign in front and use 2 decimal places. If it is less than a diopter, include a 0 before the decimal point. If the sphere is 0, you can write 0.00 or plano. If this is the case, you can omit the sign. Note the cylinder power. Again, always use a plus or minus sign. Right and left should be in the same form, so both in plus sil or both in minus sil. Note the cylinder axis, from 1 to 180. Use whole numbers only. For example, 42.5 or 42.5 is not to British standards. You should choose either 42 or 43 in this instance. Do not use a degree symbol. This is to prevent it from being misinterpreted as a 0. Do not use a line or arrow to indicate axis. If using prism, note the power in prism diopters. Note the prism base direction. This can be written as up, down, in or out. Alternatively, prism base direction can be written in degrees, where 360 degrees is used as the horizontal direction to the right as you are facing the trial frame. Do not use the degree symbol. Oblique prisms may be written in 3 different ways: in their horizontal and vertical components, e.g. 3 diopters down, 4 diopters in, using the 180 degree scale with a direction inwards, for example 5 diopters down at 143, using the 360 degree scale, for example 5 diopters at 323. For multifocal and progressive power lenses, the prism power applies across the whole lens. However, if the patient needs a different prism at distance and near, this needs to be stated in a separate prescription entry. Note the near addition, known as the add. You can either write it in the form of an add on the line below, or write out the reading prescription in full. The near prescription is the sum of the distance prescription and the near add. The intermediate prescription is the sum of the distance prescription and the intermediate add. To put it in another way, the near add is the difference between the distance and the near powers, and the intermediate add is the difference between the distance and intermediate powers. If it is clinically necessary, also note centration distance, tint, lens form, material, or type. You do not need to include the pupillary distance, or PD, as it is measured as part of the dispensing process. Indicate on the prescription if the person is registered as sight impaired or severely sight impaired. This is because the dispensing needs to be performed or supervised by an optometrist, dispensing optician, or doctor. Indicate if you are prescribing a balanced lens. You should indicate if the prescription is only for specific purposes. An example might be for a prescription for computer screen use only.
Let's work through some example prescriptions. Example 1. This patient needs an intermediate and near addition. You can write this in 2 ways. Right eye plano with a -1 at 90, with an intermediate add of +1 and a near add of +225. Left eye plus 050 with a -050 at 90, with an intermediate add of +1 and a near add of +225. Or you can write it the other way, which is right eye for distance, plano with a -1 sil at 90, for the intermediate prescription +1 with a -1 at 90, and for the near prescription +225 with a -1 at 90. Left eye for distance, plus 050 with a minus 050 SIL at 90. For the intermediate prescription, plus 150 with a minus 050 SIL at 90. And for the near prescription, plus 275 with a minus 050 SIL at 90. Example 2. Here we have a patient with a 2-base out prism. The sphere is over plus 5 diopters, so you must include the vertex distance. For the prescription, we're going to split the prism between the two eyes, so plus 6 with a minus 3 SIL at 135 and 1 base out. Plus 8 with a minus 325 SIL at 180 and 1 base out. The vertex distance is 12. Example 3. Here we have a patient who has one hyperopic and one myopic eye. Right eye plus 050, left eye minus 075 with an 025 at 20. It is helpful to highlight this to avoid making mistakes in dispensing. Now you should have a good understanding of how to write out a prescription.
AOP student membership is free of charge from your first day at university until you qualify. Join today to access Optometry Today in print and online, as well as our growing education library. Plus, you get essential legal, clinical and regulatory advice, as well as career guidance and mentoring. To join the AOP, go to aop.org.uk/students.